From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big early morning of Early Mornings LA with incredible news direct from Santa Monica, California about your forced stimulus recon and your forced stimulus check. In this recording, we go over the incredible great news about that recon that Chuck Schumer says the recon's going to be done and law by Christmas. Oh my goodness. In this recording, we go over the incredible passage asked to get that recon to law in just a few days. How is recon going to get to law in just a few days? I'll explain the breaking details today on Early Mornings LA. The checks that are in that recon are staying in there, says Chuck, and the checks that are paying out the door are a lot of them. You're going to see how much you're going to get from this incredible money in this forced stimulus recon, at least $15,000, if not up to $50,000 to $60,000 of checks across this incredible recon. And we'll be going over all the programs that Leader Schumer says are in there and are going to a quick vote and to become a law by Christmas. We'll go over the big checks to pay your bills right now. You can get checks right today. Those checks are from third stimulus. I'll explain the latest details direct from Santa Monica, California. We'll be going over the student loan debt forgiveness, the latest on that. We'll be turning to fifth stimulus, the latest on details on that. Plus, if you missed it last night, you're going to see an encore performance of the new Calcino show on this channel and what is Blaine 66 up to. Then you're going to take a look into the new universe of where this channel is going, the metaverse, with a brand new series and a brand new exciting opportunity for you to make money. Those details plus the latest breaking news about what's happening on December 15th. It's a critical day for you. And then what's going on with Omicron, the latest details, the latest financial news, and the great news about that recon finally going to a vote. Those details heat up as we go into a big early mornings broadcast. Because guess what? The toast is toasted, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing, and even there's some bacon. I mean, we got everything here, and you're here. Let's get to the news starting right now. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Here we go. That student loan debt forgiveness offer is on the table. We'll go over the latest details on that. Your benefits are going up with that COLA raise of 5.9%, and fifth stimulus right behind that. We're going to go over that later in this video. But we're going to start with an incredible recon with a vote happening in just a few days. Wow, this is huge. The incredible checks in that recon that'll get passed and become a law by Christmas, so says Leader Schumer. We'll be turning back to the big money for third stimulus to pay your bills across the board. We got a big recording, the latest details, and that new shows that the two came on this channel last night. The other one that's coming up as well. Those details plus the latest details on Omicron, because guess what? We got a big broadcast today, and I want you to subscribe. Go down this video right now and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The great news as we start a big day across the board is that Leader Schumer says that recon is becoming law by Christmas, folks. Whoa, this is huge. So this recon will pay you a lot of money across the board, upwards of at least $15,000. But get your pen and paper ready, because I'm going to show you that you may be getting upwards of $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, a lot more than $15,000 from this incredible recon. Let's go over each of those clusters of checks, starting with the first cluster that pays you a lot of money across the board, at least $15,000 for all these checks. Here we go. Hazard pay, got in there. $4,000 of elder care, got it in there. $4,000 to care for young children, got that in there as well. The CTC, $3,600 for one more year, got it in there. The Pell Grant check for my college students, $550, got that in there as well. The home repairs if you live in a low-income community, got that in there as well. And then the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, got that in there as well. Well, the first add-on comes to the illustrious Maxine Waters here in Southern California. She got that provision in there as well. And you know what it is free home purchases. Well, no, the home is not free. It is money given to you for the purchase of your first home. Wow, that money is free. And she wanted to give you $25,000 to go buy a home. She got a little bit less. How do you get this money? It's coming up later in this video. Let's go to the second cluster checks. Got it in there. Home repairs and paid leave. Wow, they got the expansion of the universal pre-kindergarten, expansion of Medicare, the child credit, and the household tax credit as well. But this home repair is a little bit different. This one is to weatherize your home. You know, you need to weatherize your home, especially if I show up. How do you weatherize your home against LALATE? Lots of bacon on the front porch. I'll never have to come inside. I'll just be outside eating. So that's how you weatherize your house against me. I don't know where I come up with this stuff. The second add-on comes with the illustrious Bob Casey. He wanted $250 billion in there. He got a little bit less, and this is huge. I'm going to go over all those details right now. But here we go with that second add-on of checks. And boy, this is home repair. This is for my seniors and also for people on disabilities. But let's go to now the third cluster of checks, and it is huge. Seniors and free internet got that money in there as well. Here you go. It comes the cluster called Deliciousness. They got in there cheaper prescription medication, immigration reform, free school meals for all checks. Then we got the farmers, also the money for the free internet, and also the independent contractors, and then the Medicare expansion. When we talk about that Medicare expansion, it has two prongs, the House versus Senate. House passed this recon with two provisions, and their senators vow to add three more. And this is very important for the final 5 minutes of this video. You have to need to stay it to the end because it's my commentary. And the commentary really brings us all together like you've never seen it before. It's very important to stay at the very end. Bernie says he wants to add three more provisions on this. So let's look at this. First, the House got in there the hearing and the Medicaid gap fix. Bernie wants to lower the eligibility and age of Medicare on the Senate side, then add in dental and vision. That is par for the course what we're looking at when we're talking about an MSC, which is an acronym on this channel only that refers to at least one or more IRS stimulus checks. And starting in the month of May, I told viewers to pick up the phone and advocate for its inclusion with those senators. And you did. And since the month of May, thousands and thousands of viewers have been told by those 6 senators it's going in there. In fact, we've delivered more than 5 million phone calls to those legislators, the biggest advocacy you're going to see in the United States. And what did those 6 senators say? They said it's going in there. But 2 weeks ago, the legislation landed in the Senate, and I said, okay, now we're in the Senate. Now time to pick up the phone and re-advocate. And you have. And boy, have you done well. Janet picked up the phone and called Leader Schumer's office the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and was told it's going in there via Bernie Sanders. Then Lynn Glenn picked up the phone last Wednesday and was told by Chris Coons' office it's going in there. Then Bonnie picked up the phone on Thursday and called Liz Warren's office and was told it's going in there. Tyrell picked up the phone last week and was told by Bob Casey it's going in there. And finally, Donnie and Donnie's wife, whose name is Sharon, picked up the phone this week and was told by Ron Wyden's office it's going in there. This repeats the statements by those legislators since the month of May that it's going in there. But it's important for you to advocate, to say why you need it, why your family needs your community, your church, because of financial, medical reasons, or whatever it is. Do not use the words MSC, use simple words and pick up the phone and call. Speak to those legislators, speak to the staffers. And if you can't get them on the phone, then leave a voice message. One viewer late yesterday on Twitter said, I got through to Sanders' office, said I want to put it in there. They said it would, and then couldn't get the other offices on the phone, but left voice messages. So good job by that viewer. They now have in total between congressional and Senators' offices received more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. This is the chief of staff to one of the key 6 legislators. Everyone's amazed by the outpouring of touching stories. They have a better understanding of what Americans are going through during this pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories of the voice of the people across the nation, you, LA, as you have become too loud to be ignored. Very, very kind. Let's read the last sentence on air. Please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy as a professional voice of the people until this becomes a law. And who do you advocate to? These are the 6 senators you want to advocate to. Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Those are the ones that have told now viewers in the last 7 days it's going in there. But you need to advocate as well until we are over the finish line. And the finish line may be less than 2 weeks away, says Leader Schumer in the second half of this video. Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Meantime, I want you to advocate for your wallet, and that advocacy involves picking up the phone and getting your bills paid today. How? With third stimulus. Third stimulus is paying out big sums of money, and that money is available right today to pay your bills. You got bills to pay? I know you do. So pick up the phone. How do you get this money? Where is it? It's all coming up in the second half of this jaw-dropping, jam-packed early mornings broadcast. Then we go over those incredible provisions of this recon that pay a lot of money, upwards of $15,000. No, a lot more than that. The Senate changes, and the latest with Chuck Schumer saying that this is going to become a law by Christmas. Wow, what a quick turnaround time. Suddenly things are moving very quickly, so he represents. Student loan debt forgiveness, the latest on that, and COLA raise, the latest on that. Plus, you're going to see the new Calcino show that debuted on this channel last night. It's coming back tonight, and you're going to take a glimpse into a new show coming on this channel about the metaverse. We're meta excited for that show. Those details and more coming up in the second half of this video. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on an early morning's broadcast. That recon will pass the Senate and become a law by Christmas. So says Leader Schumer. I have his breaking news report right now on what he said with those Senate recon changes, keeping everything that's in there from the House, but adding more provisions on top of that. The biggest payout you ever going to see in the history of this channel, at least $15,000, and you're going to get your bills paid today with third stimulus. Boy, we're doing really well. We'll be turning to that student loan debt forgiveness, the latest on that, plus fifth stimulus, the latest on that, plus that new show coming to this channel, and the new shows that debuted last night. We got a whole slate of programming because guess what? The toast is toasting, the butter is butter, and the coffee is brewing, and the bacon is bacon, or it's doing something. And so go under this video right today and hit that subscribe button right now. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Coming up next is Morning's Countdown at 7 a.m. Then I'm back live with you at 9 a.m. with the latest breaking news across the board. And with that, let's go into what is going on as we start a new day starting right now. Well, Leader Schumer delivered a huge, massive, jaw-dropping breaking news update yesterday, and I'm going to dissect it slowly, starting with you right now. He released this big letter that said, hey, get ready to vote, and we're going to have this law by Christmas. Whoa. So let's slow through all this. We're first going to go over the timeline and dissect it. Then we're going to go over the reaction, dissect that. Then we're going to go over the substance and dissect that as well. And I have a big commentary about this in the final 5 minutes of this video. Stay to the very end because it puts this in a different context. All right, first, what does he say? We're going to get this to law by December 25th, by Christmas. Okay, so he says that he wants the voting on the Senate side to basically happen not this week, not next week, but the week after. Then he wants the president to sign it that week as well. Okay, do I think this is possible? I think it's really insanely tight because he admits that they're making changes on the Senate side. So the fact that there are Senate changes, it has to go back to the House. So let's count out days. 1 day for a Senate floor vote, 2 days for a vote-a-rama, 1 day for the House. That's 4 days. I mean, the House may be 2 days. Let's say it's 5 days. Then if you start the week of Christmas, which is not this week, not next week, the week after, you're working on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Have these legislators ever worked on Christmas Day? Never. Did they work on Christmas Eve for second stimulus? I think they did. I think I slightly recall they worked on the 24th. But I've never seen them work on the 25th, let alone now. I think I had seen them work on the 27th. But this is dicey. For example, what would you do? You'd work Monday through the 24th and then come back on the 20 on the weekend, maybe the 26th and the 27th. I mean, they could. I'm just saying it's very, very tight. It's very, very tight. This is what I've always seen from them. They don't work on the 24th, but I have seen them work on the 24th, but they don't work on the 25th. I have seen them work on the 27th, on that weekend of Christmas. Number two, what does he want to have done? He wants to have the final edits out of all the Senate subcommittees this week and next week done. So he wants the final draft of the legislation out of those subcommittees. Okay. Number three, he wants a Senate parliamentarian to have that so she can make a ruling, which would be not this week, but the ruling would be next week. Who is she? She's a nonpartisan individual. Now, she's not looking at the recon for the first time this week, folks, or even this first time this month. She's been looking at all this since July and issuing rulings. This would just be the final version. So she said, okay, this is the final version of a prior draft I have. Here's my final determination. Done. That's all fine and dandy. Now, what is this? What is the reaction? The reaction is causing really almost three camps of voices among the Democrats. The first camp is good. Call the vote because we have no idea where people really stand among Democratic senators, whether they're yes or no, until we actually call the vote. I agree with them. I've been featuring this on this channel since January 2021, where I always say Joe Manchin always votes in favor of things. He just says he doesn't want to, and then when the vote happens, he votes in favor of it. He did last week with the debt ceiling limit moved into February, and I detailed a lot on this channel the last few days. Number two, the next group says, this is a little dicey because you call the vote and we fail. We do not have enough yes votes possibly. Then what happens? There's no recon. We go home for Christmas with the recon now officially dead. That's interesting. The third group is the group that says, you know what, we have some key deadlines, and that's Tim Kaine. What does he explain to us? And I'm explaining this for the first time on Early Mornings LA right now, is that several provisions that are in the third stimulus are repeated in fourth stimulus. And while I said they end in December, the official date is January 15th. Tim Kaine explains it very clearly in this new quote today that you can't wait to just January 14th to make this law. You have to do it weeks ahead of time. Otherwise, the programs will run out of money. So you have to do it weeks ahead of time, which is not late December. It's around the week of Christmas. So that is really interesting. So let's look at the quotes right now and let's see where they slot in. First, Schumer says basically, except Christmas, we're done. Our goal in the Senate is to pass the legislation before Christmas and get to the president's task. That's his quote. We have Mazie Hirono, who says, I'd like to put it to a vote to see where people stand. That's the first group of people. I want to see where people are voting. Janine Shenanchen says some people are still negotiating. Majority Whip Dip Durbin says, my experience is just get it to a vote. Until you finally, so you can finally see where people are. Meaning, are they going to say yes or no? We don't know until you call the vote. I agree. Then we have the other people that are a little worried. Maybe it fails. You know, you call the vote. Is it going to go down in flames? And what do you do then? Here is John Tester out of Montana says, what happens if it goes down? Meaning you lose. You don't have enough Democratic votes. We all walk away and say, hi, we tried. That's his quote. That doesn't really sound good. That's his quote. And then Tim Kaine says, there's nothing magic about it, but you need to get this done sufficiently in advance of January 15th. So there you go. I'll have more about my commentary, which is really important later in this video. Stay to the final 5 minutes of this video. It is key. Now let's go to this credible provisions, this recon. It has a lot of money in there, folks. It's a lot of money. It's the single biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. It is much bigger than first, second, and third, and it's at least $15,000. It's maybe $40,000 to $50,000. And what are these checks? Let's go over them right now. The paid leave got in there. This is huge for my essential for a lot of money, upwards of $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. If you make $35,000 annual salary, it is $800 a week. $15,000 annual salary, about $400 a week. How many weeks? Up to 4 weeks per year. Yeah, this is $5,000 to $6,000 on the high end. Now, if you don't work, but you live with your son or daughter and they take off work once per week to take you to the doctor, that's how you're going to get the benefits of that money. They got the SALT cap in there, which is huge. It's $72,500 of what you can deduct on federal tax returns of what you pay in state and local taxes, raising it up from $10,000 under the existing law. They got job training in there, $40 billion, which is huge because millions of Americans want that free job training to take the better paying job. One of the best provisions that people ask me all the time is, where's the cheaper medical insurance? Here it is. It's the Medicaid gap fix. 12 Republican states vowed to never to pay for Obamacare, so the Democrats got the workaround plan in there to provide years of subsidized private insurance to low-income uninsured people in those states. Which brings us to the best provision of this recon, perhaps, the $150 billion for housing. This is the one where you clean up. There's 6 provisions. The first 3 are new. Weatherize your home, home repairs, and the first-time home purchases. And the other 3 provisions are a repeat of third stimulus, rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance, but you don't have to wait for fourth stimulus to become law. You can get it today with third stimulus. And you have done so well over the last 2 weeks. Thousands of viewers have gotten, on average, about $5,000 in the last 2 weeks. Let me go over what's going on here. In December 2020, when people were talking about second stimulus, I was looking forward into the future for third stimulus. And I was really the only place on the net where I had an exclusive breakdown of what was proposed for third stimulus. I said, looking at this, there's a $1,400 stimulus check in there, but I think I can get you $15,000 of other money across these programs. When it became law, a lot of people said, oh, there's a $1,400 stimulus check in there. I said, focus on the big payout. $15,000, which is 10 times that amount of money of these incredible programs in this recon that are very easy to get. And I showed you. And in the next few weeks, in early spring 2021, viewers on average got $45,000 from third stimulus. Now, 2 weeks ago, I saw people really having an issue. They had an issue. They want to get their bills paid and weren't getting their bills paid. So I said, let's bring back third stimulus on this channel. And what a big success you have been. You have been absolutely incredible. What have you done? Number one, we go every few hours with another person, send me a private message on social media, say, I got the money. Number two, I have viewers getting on average $5,000 to $6,000. It's a very common number. You're going to see in a second. 4 to 6 months of rent is also a very common number. The range is anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000. And then we have had some absolute out of the ballpark numbers, enormous numbers as well. And finally, I have the viewers getting multiple sums of money. So everyone is listening really well, and they're getting these huge checks. Let's go over some incredible success stories right today. Some of these are brand new today. And if you have a success story as well, send it to me on private message. We have Amy and Lisa Hall saying, got another round of rent and 3 more months after that. Great news. Tonya Faltry via Amber got some big money. I'm adding it up. It just looks a lot. It looks like it's 6,000, 10,000. I just enormous amount of money. We have Thorne Diaz on Holidays LA 2 days ago, got 4 more months of rent. There you go. That's that common number. There's Deborah. She got 6 more months of rent. Thank you, LA. Thank you, Deborah. We had Chef John Meyer, got an extra $2,500 a snap and is looking for utilities as well. Says, you're awesome. Thank you, John Meyer. It's a long-time viewer's channel. You remember him. We have Lynn Glenn, who last week got an additional round of rent. She says, God bless you. I'm never going to stop watching. Love you, Lynn Glenn. We have Robin, who got 3 rounds for one utilities and 3 rounds for another utilities last week. That's how you do it. How do you do it? It's coming up in just a second. She says, you're an angel in disguise. Thank you so much. And then we had D. Miller, got 4 more months of rent at $2,800. We had Lorica, who got that big sums of money for her lumber. We had Madonna, who got 1, 2, 3 rounds of rent. Then we had Kathy, who says, you are a godsend. She got about $6,000. It's just huge for 3 items. Then we had Morel, got 1, 2, 3 rounds. Then we had May Lou, who got about $5,000-$6,000. He says, you're the best. Love you back, May Lou. We had Scarpy, who got snapped. Alicia Justice, who got about $10,000. Jay Grand, who says, I speak for all of us. We love you dearly. Love you back, Jay Grand. He got about $5,000 for multiple items. And then I turned to Chris. Great story. He had gotten $10,000 from Third Stimulus early this year for 3 items. And now he says, I never knew about this additional round till I watched you this week. I got another $5,000 for utilities and rent. So there you go. Get a pen and paper ready. If you're not a member, if you are a member, get that newsletter in front of you and follow along, because we're going to go over the big money you can get right now. And it's rent, utilities, mortgages, and more. And it pays a lot of money. You qualify for the money, and here we go. This is a graphic 3 months ago. The money for rent has gone up a lot now. It is about $40,000. This week, there are 2 viewers who had great success stories. If you are one of those 2 viewers, send me a private message. I want to feature live on air. The one viewer said, I got $38,000 for rent this week. It's incredible. And another viewer got $140,000 approximately from Third Stimulus this week for his family. Just incredible. So where do you get this money? Follow along with the newsletter. Take notes right now. 6 places you reach out to: City Hall, City House Authority; County Hall, County House Authority; State Hall, and State House Authority. The keywords you say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. You must do the following. You must reach out to all 3. You must apply everywhere. You must get multiple rounds. You got 1 round earlier this year, get another round today. If you got 1 round yesterday, get another round tomorrow from different organizations. Remember, even if you're a member, you must follow exactly what I say in these recordings. Let's turn to the snap. Did I click? I don't know if I hit a button or I didn't hit a button. I read my graphic wrong. So no, I thought that said snap. So here is the graphic I want to show you, but just in a second. First, I want to show you the next step, which is the money for utilities. Yeah. If you haven't gotten utilities, do the same thing. You want to reach out to utility companies and you say utility assistance because of COVID. And Mark's brother-in-law is getting $15,000. For mortgage assistance, say the same thing across the board. Next. If you got a third stimulus check, why are you paying for food? You need to get on Snap. Reach out to the Department of Agriculture. Get that money right now. And boy, it pays a lot of money. Mark's brother-in-law got $25,000 a year. He's now getting $250,000 over 10 years from this channel. Get that Snap today from the Department of Agriculture. Number 3, you want to get combo items. Here's Nisi. She got 3. She and Art Sullivan blazed the trail. They got 3. And ever since then, I've been telling viewers, get 3 items. Mark at the time had 2 items. I said, Mark, where's your 3rd item? He picked up the phone and he got the 3rd item, bringing himself to $50,000. He's continued to advocate for more items for his wallet. And since then, he has gotten $100,000. Lorraine, she has gotten 120 initially at 105. There you go. And yeah, one viewer this week getting in an astronomical 6 figures for his family. But let's turn to the incredible story about Johnny. And I love Johnny's story for 3 parts and 3 different reasons. Part 1, he started this channel he started watching this channel with $0 on a particular Monday, like 2 other viewers. By Wednesday, they each had 3 programs funding them at $45,000. Great numbers. Then, what happened by the end of the week? Johnny kept on picking up the phone and calling. And by the end of the week, he had 7 programs approved. 7 programs approved. Why do I like this? Because it means he made at least 15 phone calls. You're not going to get 100% yeses on the phone. You're going to get about at least 20 to 50% no's. So to get 7 yeses, he had to have made at least 15 phone calls. And that is absolutely incredible. How much did he get in 1 week? In 1 week, 5 days, he got $80,000 from those 15 phone calls. That's what you want to do. There's always someone, there's even sometimes members will say, I reached out to one place, I got no, what am I doing wrong? Listen to the video. Follow the newsletter. The newsletter has been revamped. If you're calling one place and stopping because you got to know, I'm saying about 1,000 times, you have to call the 6 places. And then you got the nonprofits on behind that. All right, part 2 of Johnny's story, which is incredible, which is the following week. He reached out to his 2 family members and said, hey, I got $8,000 last week from LALATE. They said, I've heard about him. Where'd you get this money from? He said, from Third Stimulus. They said, I haven't heard about this anywhere else. Why haven't I heard about it? He says, because they don't cover it. He does. Let me show you how to get that money. And by the end of the week, those 2 family members went from non-believers to believers. They each had $50,000. Why do I like this second part of the story? Because it shows you the landscape right today. LALATE is now the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, but the number 1 on this subject matter, which is geopolitical news. I don't cover SPACs. What? What is that? A SPAC? I don't cover it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. No, it means it means I don't cover it. Broadcast media, the number 1 channel, it covers it. They don't cover my news. I don't cover their news. Doesn't mean one item doesn't exist. Means we just don't cover it. Which brings us to the third update. It came in from Johnny not this Sunday, but the Sunday before that. Sent me a private message on Instagram. Say, hey, LA, I've been helping more people. I said, oh, what happened? Well, they kept on coming over asking what I was doing, and it snowballed. And eventually I kept on helping more and more people. How many did you help? 32 people at LA. Wow. Then I asked him, how much money did you get them? He said, of those 32 people, I got them $850,000. Incredible. Now, you should be the next Johnny today. Go right into this video right now and sign up for that membership newsletter. Get that newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which is totally free. It features the 6 places you must reach out to. It features the 5 nonprofits you should reach out to that have other sums of money and small appliances and small nominal home repairs. It features the 3 musts you must do. It features the treasury letter you want to read before making the phone call. This is how and why members do so well, because they follow the newsletter exactly step by step to get this big money. If there was ever a time and place to do a paraphrasing of something, it's not here. If you do a version of what I say, it ain't going to work. And you say, why did I get a no? Because you have to really follow it tooth by tooth and nail by nail. Let's turn back into that incredible recon, which we left off at the housing provisions. The 3 provisions which are new are home repairs, which are for low-income community homes, the weatherize your home for all types of homes across the board, and the first-time home purchases. That's money that will be given to the seller in your name at the time of escrow. What else is in that recon? They got $150 billion of in-home health care for seniors and people on disabilities, the $550 check for the Pell Grant for my college students, and then they got the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. It's huge. You go into the dealership, it'll show that amount minus $12,500. You will pay the difference at the register. Now, over the last few days, I've detailed how I don't like the provision because I think it's an error. It discourages you from buying one car over another car because it may have been made in Mexico. I think that violates U.S. trade policies. Now, let's go next to the next provision. $65 of child nutrition got in there for every child when they're not in school. And then we get to the best provisions, recon, the cheaper medication. Wow. Day 1, 20 medications will be dramatically discounted to a new price. This is Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D, cancer, arthritis, diabetes, the most expensive medication like an insulin dose dropping from $1,000 to $35. It's huge. It grows to 30 medications by 2028, and they cannot increase more than the rate of inflation. If they do, there's a penalty provision in there. A penalty provision? You can't put a penalty provision in a recon. So says Pat Toomey. And Senator LALATE agrees. And guess what? That is among the issues the Senate parliamentarian is set to rule on no later than next week. That provision may likely come out. The immigration reform, which is also in Chuck's letter, that's likely to come out. She previously said it cannot go by recon. And then paid leave, we'll see what happens with that, because guess what? That is where Senator Joe Manchin says you need to remove it or I'm voting against the recon. Now, what's interesting is that the senators have a lot of checks to add to this. And this graphic, 15,000, you know it's undervaluing the situation because everything from third stimulus is still in there. And that was 45,000. Everything that is added in there, those add-ons, that's money. We have a car. We're clearly over 50,000. So what's important to understand is you need to continue to advocate because the same senator says it's the best bill since the 1960s also say there's a lot of things missing in there. And so advocate to Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Let's go back into the programs that are in the House that are staying there. The nuance across the board is that everything that's in the House is staying in there unless the Senate parliamentarian removes the provisions. So they got a universal pre-kindergarten in there. They got in there the home health care coverage. That's a covered benefit. And the hearing, which is a check. Now, the child care, which is back end, the child tax credit, which is front end, $3,600, and the earned income tax credit are back end, are all continuations of provisions that are in third stimulus. So that is an example of why they do not want this to lapse, that they want to continue it live so it just rolls over and get this done in December. We're going to go over the other set of add-ons in just a second, but they also got in there the $550 Pell Grant check and the nutrition and also the housing. Now, let's take a detour for just a second over to student loan debt forgiveness. There's an offer on the table from the White House to forgive $10,000 of student loan debt for all students. I think the Democrats should take it. Doesn't preclude them from getting more money next year. The president already forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled, people who went to work in the nonprofit sector, and people who went to work in the public sector after graduation. This stimulus, let's go over that and COLA benefits. A lot of questions I'm seeing. Let me answer them across the board. First, let's just do COLA. It's separate. Everyone's benefits are going up January 1. Everyone on benefits, anyone who has benefits, you're all going up January 1. It's automatic. You don't have to do anything. And everyone is going up 5.9%. That letter, you're not going to receive it anymore. It's too late. So if you haven't received it, don't worry. You don't have to get the letter to get anything. It's just a by the way. I'm teaching the by the way right now. Now, there's a lot of comments I'm getting coming in about, okay, well, Medicare will go up or my SNAP will go down. I really don't know the situation for all those nuances. I'm hearing a lot of wrong stuff out there. And you may be being told stuff wrong by someone you call in on the call centers. So don't believe just because one call center person tells you the situation that it's true. Very, very fascinating across the board. Now let's turn to fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus comes behind this and says COLA doesn't work. We need to replace it with a new benchmark, which is inflation, 2 to 3% every December. So they want to remove it. First, they want to raise your benefits up, which we want that, don't we? Yeah, of course you want to raise your benefits up, then apply a new benchmark every December. Remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. First, let me turn to what's going on with Omicron, and this is really big news today. Omicron, when it surfaced right after Thanksgiving, we were told by the White House and Fauci they needed time to buy time. They needed some time to get some robust data about what it's like. What is Omicron? And so far, we have only gotten limited data, says Dr. Fauci. Suddenly, the White House thinks that limited data is sufficient. I don't know what's going on. I mean, they said just 2 weeks ago, limited data is insufficient. We need a lot of data. And what is the limited data so far? It's good. It says that Omicron is not any more contagious than Delta, and that it's not any more vigilant or stronger than Delta. But that's with very limited data and not a lot of data from elderly people whatsoever. So that is that front. We also have this whole problem with travel. People coming from overseas that are U.S. citizens are not getting very clear advisories from CDC about where they test, especially if they have two legs in their trip. But I want to turn back to you, which is the financial markets. What happened? Well, Omicron brought down the financial markets right that week of Thanksgiving and the Monday after that. But the reason why the markets crashed last Friday was because of the economic data that came in from the jobs report and the fear of what's happening December 15th with the Federal Reserve. This last week, and then Fauci said, okay, Omicron maybe not so serious, but we don't know yet. Suddenly, Wall Street rebounded this last Monday and this last Tuesday. I think it's foolishness. I think it's real foolishness. Let me explain to you what's going on. The big issue is December 15th. On December 15th, the Federal Reserve is going to meet and announce the new Fed policies for next year. We've really no other economic data coming in for the rest of the year except this Friday. The Federal Reserve is likely to announce, one, that tapering is going to happen faster than initially said 2 months ago. And number two, that we're likely to have two rate spikes next year, not one, and potentially even three. And they'll come even sooner, potentially even Q1 or Q2 when we were talking about Q4 just 3 weeks ago. This is the fright that Wall Street did not anticipate. Why? Because they were thinking this is going to happen further out, and that is why Wall Street crashed last week. The jobs numbers were better than expected, and this was a big surprise. So, what's the takeaway for you? Number one, stay with me. The next few days leading up to December 15th are critical. We have to see if the Federal Reserve really comes in gangbusters on December 15th. If they do, you're going to expect a big market crash again and a big fall from crypto. And with that, let me go over my commentary of the situation about what's going on with this Chuck Schumer letter and the latest details across the board. This is the most important part of the recording where I bring everything together. First, timeline. The week of December the week, not this week, but the week after, the week of Christmas, getting this done. They can get it done if they come back in town that Saturday and Sunday and Friday, which I think they did under second stimulus. If they don't, I see it a little too tight. I don't know how they can do it. That's number one. Number two, this is what's very important, is that you are really not going to get these senators to tell you what is in the recon until the 11th hour because of what I told you yesterday. There's a new aura among the senators, which is do not trash talk each other in the press. They don't want any more of that Joe Manchin versus Bernie in the press. So you're not going to hear Joe Manchin coming out say, take the provision out. Bernie saying, put the provision in there. You're not going to hear that anymore because they don't want to do that. They think it's not going to get it passed. I agree 100% with you. But there's a problem. And the problem is news reporting. It's going to be very hard to give you specific updates of what is in and what is out until the 11th hour, until we see what is out. And that's why it's very important to stay with me across the board. It's also important to advocate. Now, let's go to cold turkey and tough love. Tough love involves the real big success story you've had in the last 2 weeks. You heard me say, I can show you how to get your bills paid. Let's get some bills paid. And you've done so well. Imagine you have $5,000, $6,000 in your hand now you didn't have last week during the holidays. We've been doing this last year. We did this last year. We're doing it right now. Cash is king. We are here to get the cash, and we really don't care what the cash is called. And what's important to understand is that this recon, this fourth stimulus recon, is huge. It is huge. It's bigger than first, it's bigger than second, it's bigger than third. And it's going to pay a lot of money. At least 15,000, maybe 30, maybe 40, maybe 50, maybe 60,000. It's absolutely huge. And do you care what the money is called so long as you get it in your hand? Of course not. You don't care what it's called so long as there's a lot of it and so long as you get it in your hand. So if there's anyone that jumps in a chat and says something like, I only want the money if it's called this, that's not being honest to yourself. You don't care what the money is called so long as it's cash and it's a lot of it and you get it. You really don't care what it's called. And that's why you have done so well in the last 2 weeks. You understood that, hey, there's money available right now for third stimulus. I need cash. I need my bills cleared up. Let's get the cash. And you've done really well. Average $5,000 to $6,000. When fourth stimulus becomes law, we are going to make that miracle happen again, or that magic happen again is a better word. We're going to use the information channel and get the big sums of money from this big fourth stimulus recon. We do not know if a IRS stimulus check or more IRS stimulus checks are in there. We do not know if they're in there and they can survive. We do not know if they're not in there or they're going in there. But we do know is that there is a lot more than that in checks. We know that there's at least $15,000 of checks in there that are for you, hard cold cash. And yeah, the more checks they add, the better it is. Keep on adding those checks, senators. Keep on adding them across the board. But what's important to understand is we need to stay laser focused on cashing as many checks as possible. Meantime, 3 new exciting shows coming to this channel. 2 debuting last night. First, Street and Stimulus, normally at 7 o'clock on this channel, follows Evenings LALATE at 5, Evenings Countdown 6, and usually is a throwback show, but now features an encore performance of Holidays LA. So Street and Stimulus during this holiday season will feature an encore performance of Holidays LA. What a great programming block. Evenings LA, Evenings Countdown, and then Holidays LA at 7 o'clock in the Street and Stimulus time slot. And then coming to this channel in just a few days is a new show about an altered universe. And that altered universe is the metaverse. I go into the metaverse, here I am, and I show you how to make money, how to interact with your friends and families, how to learn about new places and new destinations, and more importantly, how to generate income on the side or as a regular business. That's that new show about the metaverse coming to this channel in just a few days. And of course, last night, the talk of the town finally happened. Javita Late, Blaine 66, and Sirloin rejoined this channel last night in the debut last night of Calcino. It's now in the time slot of where Sirloin usually airs at 8 o'clock. Here again is what aired last night on Calcino, featuring this segment with Blaine 66. Where does Blaine 66 now work? He previously worked at SBA. Then he worked with Leader McConnell when he was majority leader. Let's see where Blaine 66 is working on the new show on this channel, Calcina. So what do you want to include, Senator McConnell? You want lobsters included? And reoccurring lobster. Why don't you just tell Bernie yourself that you want reoccurring lobsters? You don't have enough lobsters at home, and you want the American people to pay for lobsters. That makes total sense, Senator McConnell. Did you talk to Pat Toomey about this? Because this may violate the parliamentarian rules. I think there's an anti-lobster provision. What? Don't get angry about it. It's the bird bath. The bird bath. The bird bath will wash the lobsters away because birds eat lobsters. You know that, right? You don't. Okay. The Senate parliamentarian, she's doing a bird bath. And the bird bath removes the provisions from the recall. And if you have a provision in there that violates it, like a lobster provision, the birds come and eat it. At least that's what I've been told. I mean, I like to eat. Can you hurry up? I'm about to eat my lunch. But and there he is. Stay on board, folks. Have a beautiful day. And stay with LA for more.